All right. Roundtable episode number um 8, I believe it is. Okay. All right. I think it's number 8. All right. If not, I'm somewhere around there, not too far, not too off. And I am tired. I am tired. So, all right. Let's go ahead and let's get into this. Let's go ahead and bring in the queen of trucking, one Miss Becky Lopez.
Hi, how are
How
you?
you doing? Good. How about yourself, girl?
It's been a week, but I'm better now.
The week isn't quite over yet, B. It's not quite over
But
yet.
you know what? In comparison to how I started it, I'm good. Like, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
How's your week
Yeah.
going?
Ah, I'm getting tired, B. I am, man. I'm starting to feel like beat up and stuff. I'm training for this Beta Breakers run in San Francisco,
Mhm.
and I'm trucking a lot. So it's loads are really good right now. I'm trucking a lot right now, but in the meantime, in between time where I can, where I'm training, and it's gosh, I'll tell you, sometimes I just want to cry. Um, yeah, so I'm tired. I'm tired. So Fred, for anybody watching, wondering where our love sex machines, 50 Shades of Fred, where he's actually not with us tonight. I had somebody else that was going to fill his shoes, and they would have done a good job filling those shoes too. But they canceled on me. And if they don't think I want to hold that personally, I want to go ahead and tell them, you just made yourself a very powerful enemy, my friend. You just made a very powerful enemy. Canceling on me, dang it. All right. So actually, hang on, let me plug this in. It's very unprofessional of me. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. Well, B, first of all, before we get into it, how was your weekend, girl?
How was my weekend?
Yes.
It was hectic too. Yeah, I've been moving, so I had to downsize storages and move locations.
Hmm.
So, it was not good.
I think I remember seeing you post that you're moving. Did you move far? Did you move?
No, I moved a few blocks over. So it's like
Okay.
Laverne now. But yeah, it's a better
Ah,
side of the train tracks.
it is. It is. If anybody's not familiar, Pomona and Laverne, yeah, there's a difference. There's
Yeah.
a difference.
So I think
Okay.
I'm bougie now.
Okay. So you moved out of P Town, huh?
No,
Okay.
the funny thing is my
Mm,
complex is really, it's like massive, right? So
mm,
where I'm at, it's still Pomona, but the back of
mm.
it is Laverne. Like, it's crazy. Even though it's the same location, it's a different, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I
Yeah.
got you. I got
But
you. Okay. Okay. So
it depends who I'm with. I'll claim Laverne, then I'll just say Pomona.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending what company you're around. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, well, good for you. Good for you.
Thank
Good for
you.
you. Happy for you.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
happy.
yeah, yeah, that's good. It can always be hectic but exciting to move. So,
Yeah.
all right. So, earlier, or was it last week? Last week, I went ahead and I covered a story on the solo tip about a father that raped his daughter, or on his defense, it was consensual, which was kind of crazy to hear. But let's go ahead and let's hear this story. Then, B, I'll pass it to you, and we'll figure out what's going on a little bit here more. But let's go ahead and hear this story.
A shocking arrest in a family's fight for justice tonight. Why her loved ones They won't stop until her voice is heard.
Gina Silvas joining us now with more on this. Gina.
That's right. This is a very disturbing case involving allegations of sexual abuse and incest. The victim's family is seeking justice, and they're turning to the public for help, urging supporters to pressure the Ventura County District Attorney to take this case to trial.
She was just such a sweet, loving, kind person.
When Michaela Renee Settles turned 18, she moved from North Carolina to Moorpark, California to live with her biological father.
By the way, that is the father, okay, that they're going to be talking about. That is him.
Steven Vincent Chavez. 2 days later, her family says she called, terrified and asking for help.
It was just the fear in her voice, her crying. You know, I didn't need details. I knew something was wrong, and I said, I'm on the way.
Still in town, Carolina Sandoval says she rushed to Chavez's home, desperate to find out what was wrong with her daughter. When she saw her, it broke her heart.
She's just like, she's barely walking. Like she's just, you know. And so finally, like, my brother literally like just picks her up, like he hugs her.
Michaela was taken to a hospital and a rape kit was performed. According to the family, the results came back positive for Steven Vincent Chavez's DNA. He was arrested that same night, charged with incest, taking advantage of a position of trust, and providing alcohol to a minor. Her cousin Crystal Sandoval was in shock.
I was screaming, I was crying. I just kept thinking, why would he do that to her? Why would he do that to her? I knew that this wasn't something that she could come back from.
Crystal was right. 5 months later, Michaela died by suicide.
If I'm being 100% honest, it feels like I handed my daughter to the devil.
Carolina says this is what Chavez texted her the night Michaela was taken to the hospital. I'm never drinking liquor again. I don't want that blackout to happen again.
You are.
All right. So he's saying that he got so drunk that he blacked out that this took place. All right.
Blacked out. Like, you're using that as an excuse.
The family says there's another devastating blow. They say the Ventura County DA's office has told them the case against Chavez may not go to trial because Michaela is no longer alive to testify.
The DA was essentially saying, we don't know if we have a case because she's no longer here. And when she told me that, I immediately said, no, we're not gonna let that slide.
Okay. All right. We'll play another video. All right. So everybody got at least the gist of what we're talking about here, right? There is an update before we get into some of that. B, what were you able to find out about him, this case, everything that's going on? Because this is happening like right now.
Yeah.
What were you able to find out?
He went to court yesterday, and the same thing. They were saying that the DA wasn't really too sure. It was a preliminary hearing. They were saying the DA is going to continue with the case, but they were saying that it's going to be a tough one because there's not enough evidence against him, and that's the main ticket they're going with, that the little girl's not here anymore. So who's gonna testify against what happened? So yeah, they're due back in court May 19. And right now, so far, what it looks like is he's looking at a maximum of only 3 years in prison, and he would have to register as a sex offender, but only for 20 years. So it's like a slap on the hand, I think, considering everything that came out of this case. He is 41.
He's 41. Okay.
Yep.
Does he have any prior convictions?
No prior convictions, but after, when this originally happened, he was arrested. They did take him in and charged him with the charges that were there. It was, where is it? I wrote it down. I can't find it. Incest, abuse of trust, and providing alcohol to a minor. And he was released on bail. He just pleaded non-guilty. So he was released on bail. He was waiting for his next court date, and he was just living life anyway. They say he was playing golf. He would record himself and stuff like that. As far as social media, I tried to look for him. I didn't find anything, but from people's their statements and what they're saying, that he was just real disgusting with it. Life continued for him like it was no big deal. And then unfortunately, a couple months later, like the report said, she suicided in December.
Okay. Few questions here. Man, where do I start with this one? Okay, I guess I'll go with this. I'll go with this. How do we know what relationship she had with him? Because they were living in what, South Carolina, North Carolina. Do we know what relationship they had with each other? Because they weren't living together.
No. Well, I from what I understand, they were obviously not close. They weren't close. The dad was there. I think he would send, child support, that kind of deal, because he does own an electric company. So he's a self employed person. And I believe the last name Settles comes from her stepdad that adopted her. Something like that is what I understood. So I don't think they were very close with the relationship, but either way, how could this, I don't know, how could this happen? It's horrible.
Okay, I had heard there was this there was this one lady. She was interviewing somebody that wants to get involved. She was like a lawyer, and she's trying to get involved. She's talking to the mom and all that stuff, right? And she was giving this information. She said that they had gone to go visit him before, but this time was different because this time she was actually going to go live with him. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't know, but it was quick, wasn't it? It was just 2 days that she was living with him, and then this happened.
Yeah. Well, I guess the girl Michaela wanted to come here because she wanted to pursue the arts in LA, Hollywood, whatever. She wanted to be like an actress or something like that. So the dad had promised her to continue paying for her school and all that stuff. So that was the agreement they had. That's why she was actually moving over here. So as the report says, the mom hadn't even left yet because she had brought her over, and all this happened in just 2 days. Mm-hmm.
And from what I understand, okay, do we know? Okay, here's the thing, because not even when anything that I was looking into, it doesn't say. Do we know how she committed suicide?
No, it doesn't say. But I mean, from the clips and everything that shows, it wasn't like an immediate suicide. She was in the hospital for a little bit, and then she passed away. Because they have like cousins and I think her sister that were posting social media updates when she was still in the hospital bed. So I don't think it was an immediate suicide.
And there were no notes that she left behind to say like, hey, I can't take this anymore because this is what dad did to me. There was no notes or anything, correct?
No, she did leave a note saying exactly that. Yeah, that she couldn't carry on with life because of what had happened with her father. Yeah, there was one note that she wrote.
Okay, I heard something different. Okay, all right. Now, from what I understand, that in certain states they could get you for manslaughter. From what I understand, that this is one of those states that I'm not really sure of, but I guess because the court system is now on just based on evidence. And when they found the DNA in her, they're saying that his defense can be that it was consensual, which is completely just like mind blown to me. But I guess, I mean, if he's going to go with the defense, that's probably the only defense. But at the same time, he's saying that he was blacked out. He doesn't really remember. So if you're blacked out, then how do you not remember? But to me, just on a personal level, just to me, if it was consensual, I would still say then lock them up anyways. That's your daughter, man. So she was willing to, as a dad, you're cool with Joe is going and smashing your daughter? Like, what the heck? Lock that dude up, man. You know, that's the whole family's sick. But where do we go from here, B? Because I'm gonna get ready to play this other video. Actually, they went to court, I believe it was Tuesday.
Today's
And-
Thursday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, let me go and play this. Because this is what happened after the court date.
Based on the charges, the most that he can get is 3 years and 20 years as a registered sex offender. I said he's 40 and 60 years in 20 years this is going to all go away for him. And you know, they really couldn't really answer me, but they just kept saying based on the charges, that's the most that he can get. So then I said, why can't we do involuntary manslaughter? They said based on the evidence, this is all we can charge. My daughter then asked, why can't we do rape? And they said, based on the evidence, this is all we can charge. So I don't know what evidence they're talking about. Maybe what Michaela said, you know, the day it happened. But at the end of the day, he got her drunk. And even if, you know, he said, let's go to this room or let's go upstairs or whatever she said. And even if she did, she was intoxicated. She was taken advantage of physically and mentally. So if that's not rape, I really don't know what is. I'm not really sure why they can't, you know, put that as a charge. And to be honest, nobody knew about this until Crystal started posting the videos. I believe his best friends had no clue. A lot of his cousins, aunts, uncles had no idea. So the immediate family has kept it a secret. He's been living his life, playing golf, going on trips, doing whatever, and nobody had a clue. If it wasn't for her videos, he'd continue to just do whatever he wants, unbothered, working in and out of people's homes. And it just feels like, you know, my daughter's life is only worth 3 years. And so then I asked, you know, I said, after the 3 years, what? I said, so, okay, he's registered as a sex offender, but then what? Can he go golfing? And they said, yeah. I said, okay. Can he go on trips? They said, yeah. And I said, do you understand my daughter clocks out of work and then now has to go to a gravesite to spend time with her sister? And, you know, they really couldn't say anything. So it doesn't feel like justice. What's 3 years? I asked, can he do, if he does, you know, well and doesn't get in trouble, can he get out early? They said, yeah. So what, a year and a half, if that? I asked if they took his passport away. They said no. So I said, okay, so if he wanted to go get on a plane and go out of the country, he can change his last name right now. They said, well, yeah, people do that. I said, okay. Like, why haven't they taken his passport away? Why is he still out? I don't understand. And I feel like the charges need to be changed because 3 years is ridiculous.
Okay. How, if he doesn't have social media, how do they know he's out golfing and living his life like that?
I think he had it prior
Okay.
to her suicide, and he was posting his day to day. Yeah.
Okay, so she ended up killing herself in December, I think it was. So we don't know how she killed herself, but it took a while. So maybe it could have been medication, maybe she took some substance. We really don't know. I have not heard anything, even
No.
from the video that I was watching. They didn't know how she killed herself. This case is interesting because when it gets down to evidence, I would say there's enough evidence to go through with it, but as far as her killing herself, I really don't know. Now, do I believe that she killed herself because she was raped? Yeah, I do. I just don't know how you can prove that. I don't know how you can prove that she actually killed herself because he raped her. B, what's your thoughts on all this?
that they should give him time. Yeah, I feel personally like he already had, how can I say, like he had already figured out what he was gonna say. That's why he sent that text talking about blacking out, blah blah blah. You know, once again we go back to the whole, okay, the intercourse of it all. To be able to assault, because that was assault. If you already see the person you're with is not only not okay with what's going on, but it's 4 hours and they're bloody everywhere and weak. Why continue doing this and then go off and claim it was consensual? Like, what kind of animal does that? You know what I mean? Consensual is both people are okay, they're enjoying it, they're in on it. Not one person thinks it's consensual, sees the other person is as drunk as this kid was. She wasn't able to walk. They say she was bloody everywhere. And this attack took 4 hours. Like, where does he really feel like he's gonna like get away with all of that? On top of that, which is kind of also, to me, it's kind of confusing because I know personally when there is a rape kit that is performed, there's actual like signs of rape because obviously it's entering against the person's body, the will. So that's another thing. Maybe that she was that drunk that she, I don't know, she didn't have that certain damage there. I just don't understand why the DA is taking it so lightly, talking about there's not enough evidence. They found his DNA in there. A person, when it's consensual, that's like my bottom line. If it's consensual, you really think that it's okay to be bloody and that long and not able to walk and come out yelling for help, calling your mom all scared? Like, that does not sound consensual at all.
How do we know it was 4 hours? Because I've heard that they say, "Hey, this lasted 4 hours." How do they know it was 4 hours?
Because the girl said so when she made the police report. She said that the whole event took 4 hours.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
man. Well, there is crime here, and he is looking at some time. He's just not looking at a lot of time, which I think that's the part that sucks. And if you don't have the person there, see, because she committed suicide, she took her own life. Unfortunately, had he killed her, that would have been something, right? But because she took her own life, she can't testify to anything. And from what I understand, and this is the part that sucks, because us being our age, we know that 18-year-olds, you're still just a young, dumb kid. You know what I mean? You're not an adult. You're still just a young, dumb kid. You know, you're fresh out of high school, but you still have that high school mentality. You're still a young kid. And the thing for me is, one thing that I kept hearing was that her mom and her family were able only to do so much and get so much access because Michaela is an adult.
Yeah.
This wasn't like, oh yeah, you could speak for her, or you know what, we can share everything with you. It's like, no, we're dealing with her. And this is even before she committed suicide. So when she was dealing with this, everybody was going to her, to Michaela. And it's like, okay, you know what? Go talk to my mom. No, we can't do that. You are an adult. We need to deal with you. From law enforcement, everybody was dealing with her directly. And, you know, she's 18. You're still just a young kid, you know, you're not. So I found her mom being very, very frustrated with that, because to the mom, that's still her little girl, you know, but yeah, legally she was 18 and being from the other side of the country. Now it's something strikes me a little bit off on this. And who is the mom? I know we saw her there. She was in a relationship with this dude, whether it was just a one night stand or whether it was longer. Something's off, because this isn't something that you just do. This guy had something going on with him. This isn't something that, hey, you know what, you just drank too much and you just raped your daughter. No, no, there's something else going on with this dude. Um, there had to be something else with him. I take a look at the mom, I look in her eyes, and I'm like, mom, I think maybe mom used to be involved with some sort of stuff. I'm not really sure, but that's just my best observation. Um, do we know anything about the mom?
What you see is it. And it's weird because I'm a mother. I have 2 girls. I'm a girl mom. I would be beyond devastated if any of this happened. And you see how she talks so coldly, like it's no big deal, like not no big deal, but like, okay, it's done and over with. She doesn't seem angry. I haven't seen her cry. And I mean, even though this already passed 5 months ago, it's still real. That's her baby. How can you get over it, or how can you be that strong to where it doesn't affect you anymore?
I agree. That's what I'm seeing that being.
Yeah.
I was looking at that and I'm like, damn girl, your daughter, your baby girl was raped and assaulted, brutalized to the point where she ended up taking her own life. I'm not telling somebody how to grieve, but
She's not grieving.
wow,
Even when she's sitting there explaining the way her own brother had to take her in, that he picked her up, no emotion, nothing.
okay. I wanted to get to that because I have not been able to find this out. Okay, so I was listening to like this long podcast about this story, like I was telling you earlier, right? Some lady that really wants to get involved, and I don't know, she's in law, I like a lawyer or something. I'm not even really sure, right? And they kept the lady that was interviewing her kept asking her the question, okay, how did she get out of the house? Did the dad just let her out? She's like, we don't know, but she went there with her brother to pick her up, and she was so badly he had to carry her to the hospital. And I'm like, okay, that transaction right there, that's a big important piece, because I understand that you see your daughter in trouble. I understand that you see your daughter hurt. I understand that you see your daughter bleeding. I don't have a daughter. I have a niece. If something like this happens and we go to pick her up and she comes out brutally assaulted like that, bleeding and everything, yeah, I don't know if I'm jumping in that car. I'm like, you take her to the
You go
hospital.
back in the house and
I'm gonna go inside that house and I'm gonna see what happened. I'm gonna get it one way or the other.
yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna. So I don't know. Like something does bother me. I don't want to be over here pointing fingers at the mom. I don't want to be pointing fingers. Obviously, this dude. Look, when I say this fool is a complete psycho, man. This dude is a complete lunatic. But something is kind of off at the same time with the mom. I don't know who the brother is, or her brother, which would have been the uncle. I don't know if it was that dude. I don't know if it's that dude standing next to her. I got no idea. Or is that her new husband or whatever? I don't know. But that whole transaction right there would have been very pivotal to what happened here, because you guys went. Everything just kind of skips.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's like she called mom.
Yeah, one of the reports that I had read said that the girl was able to call her mom for help and get out of the house, that she grabbed her passport, just like a handful of things that she got on her way out the door, which was graduation money, her passport, and I forgot what, like it was just very minimal, and that she was outside already waiting for her mom when the mom and the uncle showed up for her. But again, it's like, you're picking up your child, because this is a child. Again, like you said, 18 years old is still a child. Look at her. She's little twiggy thing. That's a kid, a little fragile kid. How are you gonna be okay with, okay, get in, let's go take you to get checked out? Hell no, I'm knocking on that door, I'm breaking that door down. I'm probably using his own knives to kill him. Like, what the heck? She has no reaction whatsoever. Nothing.
And the story just skips. She
Mhm.
calls mom, tells her what's going on. and she's completely terrified. And then it just skips to like, oh, then they take her to the hospital. Like, wait, what happened between all that?
Yeah.
There's like no story. And this dude was texting the mom afterwards, talking about that he will defend himself, right? Like in court, that he is going to defend himself. He is free because he's out on bail, which is kind of a odd thing. So I never really understood like sex charges, how they're pretty lenient on that. It's like, oh, okay, why does this guy have bail? Why is he out? This guy is a menace to society, but there's got to be something else with this guy. It just can't be he tilted a few back and then he just had the hots for his daughter and couldn't resist. That's not what happens. I believe there's some other stories going on. I believe there's something else going on. I'm not saying he did this to his daughter before. Probably not. Probably not his daughter. But there's got to be some sort of history with this guy. And if they could find some sort of history with this dude, that would definitely help this case. But the thing that floors me, B, and there's the part that I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm just going bonkers on this. I'm not even really sure because, and then this kind of goes to like the whole court system and everything like that. That's why I tell everybody, wait till I'm in charge. Wait till I'm dictator of the world. Things are gonna change, man. Okay. If his defense is it was consensual, right? It's like, okay, we're both on board to, you know what? Let's handle, you want it, I want it. Hey, we both want it. Let's handle. To me, I'm like, lock him up. What dad is cool with smashing on his daughter, regardless if she's wants it? And by the way, if she does want it, then lock her up too. You're both insane.
Yeah. I agree with you.
You're both crazy. Like you guys shouldn't belong in society. Like this defense of like, well, it's consensual. She was drinking, I was drinking, we kind of winked at each other and one thing led to another. Like, no, that is father and daughter. That is sick. Lock them up just for that. But that's where I stand on it. B. So what's the next court date and what are they actually going to be looking for in the next court date?
It doesn't say what they're looking for in the next court date, but it is for May 19th. The family, though, everybody's trying to rally and get together to make noise and make the case not get dropped, or the DA or whatever the judge see that it matters, because everybody's with the whole the whole idea that he was behind her death. So yeah, that's where they're at with that. Again, I think it's very lenient the way they're just taking it, like, okay, no big deal, May 19th you're back. They're meaner to me in traffic tickets, the judge. So I don't understand how they're just like, whatever.
Yeah, that's strange. Now, what was his bill? Do we know?
250,000. Not even a lot.
250,000. Right. So he paid 25,000.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. And he owns a electrical company. He's an electrician or something like that.
Yeah, he owns Legendary Electrical. That's what the business is called. Out of Moon Park as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay, out of Moore Park, I think it is.
Yeah, Moore Park. What did I say? Moon Park? Moore Park.
Moon Park. Yeah,
Yeah.
Moore Park.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, shout outs to the 805. I think this dude is gonna have to move. I mean, if he doesn't get busted or if he just serves the 3 years or whatever, But this is let me see. I'm trying to find something here in the background right here. Okay, let me, because I want to put the picture up. All right, let me put the picture up. There we go. Okay. After this case, whichever way it goes, I think he's gonna have to move. He's, Moore Park. I've been to Moore Park. It's a little bit more of a smaller city up the coast, but gosh, man, I don't get how this dude is free. I understand he posted bail, and there's so much here that I think that they could probably pick up. I understand I'm not a lawyer to prosecute this dude, but B, do you think there's enough evidence here to lock this dude up? Remember, it's court system. It doesn't go off feelings or anything of that sort. Because, like I said, they're probably not going to be able to prove that she killed herself because of the rape, even though I do believe that.
Yeah. Well, see, I had seen, because this story's all over TikTok as well. So when I Google searched it to see all the articles on the paper and this and that, it kept taking me to a lot of the stuff on TikTok. So it does say that she did leave a note. That's why I'm sitting here, maybe she did, because there was a couple of accounts that said that she left a note behind saying that she couldn't deal with it anymore because of what had happened with her dad. So I don't know if such note does exist. I do hope that they have it and they do take that into full consideration, because that's her testimony. Even though she's not here anymore, she wrote it, So I don't know. But other than that, yeah, it's sad, and it's one of those things that it's obviously his word against her word, and she's not here no more. And that's horrible.
And one of the things that I did, which was a big question, was she pregnant, and did that drive her to commit suicide? From what I heard in a podcast, the autopsy showed that she was not pregnant. So whether that's accurate or not, I'm telling everybody what I heard. So that she was not pregnant.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard nothing about her being pregnant either. But I mean, there's always speculations of all kinds when something like this happens. So yeah, it's sad. All the way around is just horrible. Like, they look alike. She resembles him. How can he seriously sit here and say his daughter turned him on? That's disgusting.
That's what I'm saying, B. There's some other history with this dude. I know there's some other history with this dude. There's got to be somebody else. You know how they were saying right there, like all his friends, his family, nobody knew about this, nothing. And this actually happened. The whole rape thing, I think, when did it happen? In August or July or something like that? And then she killed herself in December, and nobody knew about it in his life. Nobody in his life knew about it. They were like, hey, his friends, family, nobody knew about any of this, right? He kept it under wraps. Yeah. Now that everybody knows about it, I mean, now, everyone's going to see him differently and everything. But, and the reason why I bring up the pregnancy thing is because the time frame right there from when she was raped to when she committed suicide kind of made me think like, oh, you know what? Did she find out that she was pregnant and then say, you know what, screw this, and then kill herself, right? But apparently, from what I understood, from what I heard, that the autopsy showed that she did not, that she was not pregnant. So, but I think this guy has a history. If anybody has anything with this dude, anything from before, they should come forward. Because this dude, I've been saying it. Even if it were consensual, which I do not believe is complete BS, but even if it were, lock this dude up. No dad is gonna be down, no matter how drunk he is. He's not gonna be down to smash on his daughter, even if his daughter wants to. That is completely absurd. it is
Yeah.
insane that would be a defense,
Yeah.
but it is.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, we live in, it's freedom. It's like, wow, if it's two consensual adults, and I feel bad for her mom because her mom can't really do too much because Michaela was 18 years old, legally an adult, so she couldn't get too involved. At the same time, I do kind of question the mom a little bit as well. I don't want to throw too much blame on the mom. I don't want to throw too much blame on the family. I just am interested, after this happened to your daughter, how much were you there for her? Because
Yeah.
she ended up killing herself. This is very traumatizing. I'm not throwing blame their way, but when something like this happens, it's very traumatizing. You got to be there 1,000%. You got to get the therapy. You gotta work with your daughter. You got to be there with her. I don't know how involved were they with young Michaela here, because she still went and committed suicide. So I don't know if she felt alone. I don't know if the family really was there for her and she still felt alone, or the family was being a little bit cold about it, like, oh, we're gonna get him, and just kept talking about legally getting him and not
Her.
being there
Backing
to
her up. Mhm.
cure her
Yeah.
wounds. You know what I mean? It's like, if so, this happened to her, and all the conversation about to her is like, "Don't worry, Mija, we're gonna get that bastard. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him. You know what? You gotta go talk to the lawyers. You gotta go talk to instead of focusing on her wounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
her inner wounds, and maybe she just felt alone, even though you were there. Maybe you were focused on the wrong thing instead of healing her. What's your thoughts on that, B?
Yeah, I believe you're right for the most part on all of that, because it's true. What about me? The little girl, what about me? And seeing the way the mom is, again, 5 months isn't enough to grieve and be over your daughter suicide and the whole attack of this whole situation. So it's like, if we see her like that, imagine what she was with her. I don't see the motherly love. I don't see the emotional support. Like you said, when it's a rape, there's so much more than just the physical. You know, the physical abuse. It's also mental. That whole PTSD kicks in. Depending how violent it was, which hers clearly was. What about those nightmares, those little flashbacks, those little noises you hear that make you jump real quick? Like, what was her mom doing for her, or the family for that matter? Because if you have one person standing in your corner that can back you up and you can talk to openly and can assure you that things are okay, I don't see how this little girl really went up and committed suicide. I just feel like nobody, like, really gave her anything of what she really, really needed at the moment. And it's sad. I'm going to share a story with you because you keep saying that this guy's off, and I do agree with you. Okay. This is a real close, it hit home to me, this whole story. My aunt used to be married to her, no, she was married with her husband, whatever. They formed a family. They had kids together, biological children. And he was always the creep, the uncle that would hug you longer than he should, the one that would always just sit in the corner once he was drunk, checking out all the kids. He was disgusting. This is the uncle that we had. When my aunt married him, he already had two kids from previous relationships, different women. So he had two kids. One was a boy, one was a girl. He ended up getting married to my aunt. Like I said, they formed their family. They had 4 kids together.
So just real quick, B, just real quick. This wasn't a blood uncle. He was
No.
uncle through marriage.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, he was creepy. He was very creepy. From the moment my aunt started bringing him around, I was already maybe 11 or 12. And I just remember he used to give us that, like, let me cover myself, because he's like undressing me with his look. He was disgusting, right? So yeah, time went by, they started having their kids, and
Let
he
me
was
let me ask this real quick. I don't want to interrupt too much, but let me ask this real quick. Like, what age are we talking about
the kids
for you? Yeah, for you.
when he used to look at us all weird.
Yeah, were you like? Because I don't think a 5-year-old would be aware of like, let me
No, no,
cover
no, no.
myself.
No,
You
I
know,
was about 11. I think I was 11 when they got married, and it started right away. He
okay,
wouldn't shy away. Like, we had a very big family, and we would always be together doing, carne asada, or the birthday parties, or this or that, because there were so many kids back then. So there was always something going on. And when there was, he was there, and he was just those really sloppy kind of drinkers, right? So yeah, they had their kids, and he would make them shower with the door open, which was really weird because he had three daughters and one son. And
this
he
his
would his kids, the ones that lived with him, the other two from the previous relationships, he would just give them like child support, but he wouldn't call, he wouldn't nothing. My aunt was in charge to send the money and just leave us alone. So yeah, by this time I was already grown. I was like 19, 20. I was already married. So we would go over there and hang out with them a lot. And it was just really strange that it was just like they would both child abuse their kids. Like, I mean, beat them. They were slaves to the house. They used to live up in the hill in the high desert. So they used to have like a rancho style with horses and everything. These kids were only 9 years old. They had to get up at 6 in the morning to take care of the farm before they went to school every day. And if they wouldn't, they would get beat. And I'm talking about beat like the boy went to get a haircut one time when they got removed from the house, and the barber didn't even know how to cut his hair because his head was just full of scars. That's how bad these kids used to get beat. My aunt stood by her man no matter what. Okay, one day the girls started talking. One of them, she started saying that her dad would rape her, that he would touch her, this and that. And oh no, my aunt got so upset, and how dare you be putting that out there. The whole family got involved. We were calling child services, trying to remove these kids from the house. Okay, the daughter from the previous relationship ended up reaching out to them, so she came and lived with them. Okay,
B,
so
your aunt was getting mad at who? At her husband or
her daughters for saying
okay,
that the dad was doing things to them.
got it.
So right around this time when all this is going on, his oldest daughter from the previous relationship came looking for him. They found her, I think, through Facebook. They found each other on Facebook. They started talking. So she came into the house to live with, she had a little baby, a little like 2-year-old son. Okay. While they were sitting here supposedly catching up on all this time, because it had already been about 20 years. This girl was like 22 years old at this time. My aunt caught them, the daughter and her husband, outside kissing down on each other in a very disgusting way. Okay, so till she seen this with that daughter, which was not her, that was his own daughter. That's when she started like, oh, she threw them out of the house, this and that. At this point, CPS came and removed all the kids, all four of the kids, and he ended up living with his daughter as like a couple for about maybe 3 years. He even had a kid with her, and there was nothing wrong. Like, they just made their life for about 3 years. The kids were running the system. My aunt made everybody like enemy 101. I even had to move because like all my mom and everybody, they didn't have the room to pull the kids in. So I at that time I only had my oldest. So we moved to a different house, a bigger house, to be able to pull the kids in with us through foster care. my aunt called me. She started like harassing me. She was just so mean, and it was so hurtful because we were really close. She didn't want me to have her kids. She was telling me that she was gonna sit there and report that we're always with domestic violence in my house. Things that were true, but she was blowing things up so that I wouldn't be able to get her kids. And I even told her, like, yeah, like, what's wrong with you? Ma, that both of you guys have physically hurt these kids. Ma, that he has raped your daughters, and you're okay with that? I'm trying to help them so the kids could stay in the family. And you're going to sit here and throw me under the bus, blowing things up that are even extra than what really goes on in here? And she just hung up on me. She was just so mad about it. And yeah, they ended up, just one of the girls was just like on it. She's like, no, it happened, this and this and that. And the other kids ended up going back home. And she was the only one that was stuck in the system. But yeah, meanwhile, her dad was living his life with his daughter. They had a kid together, another little girl, I think. And it's like, to him, the whole incest wasn't a big deal. And I guess when my aunt confronted them, because she confronted both of them, their excuse was that they didn't see each other like father-daughter because he hadn't raised her. He wasn't in her life. So it was like just a regular man and a regular woman. They're both sick, both of them.
I could, okay. I've seen and I've known cousin couples that are cousins. Not too long ago, I knew a family where an aunt and an uncle, they were actual cousins and they had kids with one another. But yeah, that takes it to a completely different level, which again takes me back to this mom right here. Okay, was she somewhere around the lines of who your aunt was in that situation? There's got to be some sort of vetting when somebody, okay, when a dude is that sick, right? I mean, there's one thing, but hey man, you know what, the guy, he gets drunk, he gets abusive or backhands his chick or one thing, that's one thing, that's all bad within itself, right? But what we're talking about here that's like a completely different level, which kind of makes me think like, okay, I'm not saying did mom really have no idea? Maybe not to this extent, but was she really that oblivious and clueless that this dude was did she think he had all his bearings together or something? Because now she's complaining that he drinks a lot and everything. Okay, you sent your daughter over there. I don't want to blame mom, but at the same time, I saw the same thing that you said, B. I saw a woman that was just kind of like,
dry.
Yeah, that was just kind of like, damn, this sucks that this happened. And it's like, man, I don't know. That does seem a little cold. Like you're just kind of like, wow, hey, this is unfortunate. You know what I mean? And I don't really see, when I've talked to numerous of people that have lost their kid. One of my good friends, Danny from church, his son was killed, right? And it's one thing when I talked about kids, when I talk about parents that have lost their kids, you see it in their eyes. And it doesn't matter when it happens. You talk to them 20 years later, you still see that depth of emptiness in their eyes. Yeah, they can laugh, they can find happiness, they can have good times as time goes on, but you still see that look in their eyes like, yeah, they lost a kid, whether they lost their child last week, whether they lost their child 30 years ago. You talk to that person, it's like, yeah, I can see that they lost a child. So yeah, so I don't want to throw too much on the mom or the family here, but it just doesn't. Something's just not striking me right, and
Yeah.
the way the story just skips forward to be is just like she called. Like, okay, where was he at when you went to go pick her up?
Mhm.
Was he inside the house? Was he locked inside the house? Was it an apartment? You know, where did she meet you at? Yeah, you went there with your uncle.
Brother. Mhm.
Yeah, brother. I'm sorry, yeah, brother, which is her uncle. He had to pick her up. Like you guys, it's just I don't know, B. There's something going on, and the fact that we don't know how she committed suicide, I think that's a pivotal point to bring up as well on how she really killed herself. So
Yeah.
I know everybody's just saying like, hey, you know what, she killed herself, but if you're gonna bring it to court and you want to bring this guy to justice, that's definitely gonna matter.
Yeah.
So, oh man, unfortunate, man. Well, we'll see. Their next court date is May. What is it? Be
19th.
May 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that lands on a Tuesday. I know that because I have the run on a Sunday, and that's the 17th.
Oh,
So,
I was like, man, how'd you know? You have it up there on your border, your agenda.
so
Mhm.
I look personally. Hey, man, for me, lock this dude up, whack him, whatever it is. There's no way this was consensual, and even if it were consensual, still lock this dude up, man. No dude is just gonna want to smash on his daughter, man. That is ridiculous. But unfortunately, what do you think, B? Before we move on, what do you think is the end result of this?
You know what? Honestly, I think he's gonna get away with just the 3 years in prison. I sadly think so. I do. Hmm.
And like,
The whole factor behind she was already an adult. She had to sit here and mediate for herself. I think that has everything to do with how she's gone and her mom can't really do much for her anymore. So I don't know. And I just feel like that whole note in question, is it really there? Is it not? The text messages that he sent the mother, are they gonna take that into consideration also? The whole rape kit that they performed, what did they find? Was there any struggle, or did it show any signs of it being 100%, forced penetration? It's just so many factors with this case that are very, very sad, very there's not enough information. Like the court says, there's not enough evidence. I don't know. It just sucks, but I personally think he should do more time than just 3 years. And yeah, no, they need to put him away for a while because, like you said, I'm almost certain that there is more stuff he has done. It just takes for all this to be boiling in the pot for people to start talking. Usually it goes like that. So I guess we're gonna have to sit and wait and see what else comes out.
let me ask this, B. What does the rape kit show? Does it show? It can't. Does it really show that she was raped, or does it just show that there was intercourse?
Well, with her specific one, all they say is that there was DNA. That's it. From personally knowing what a rape kit is, they examine what you look like, and if there was force used, it shapes a certain way, and that's how they can tell that it was against one's will. Because when it is consensual, the woman's body adjusts to the man's parts, and it's just a smooth encounter. When it's forced, obviously there'll be bruising, there'll be certain stretching or tearing. That's what's considered also evidence when there is a rape kit that is performed on a woman. Hmm.
Okay, and then in court, rape or to be defended of like, hey, you know what? We were just having it rough. It was consensual, but we were just having it rough.
You know what? They can throw that out there too. But then, me personally, if it was so consensual, why would she be so bloody then? And why
No,
would she be calling for help?
no, I'm just speaking in general. No, I'm not talking about them. Just in general, the rape kit, like you're saying, hey, it will show bruising or whatever
Yeah,
it may
yeah.
be. So I'm just saying in general, would that stand in court as rape, or can the defense just say like, hey, look, it was consensual.
No,
We were
but
just,
that's what I'm telling
we
you
were,
though.
we were
Like,
just
yeah,
being
they
rough.
they should put all the pieces together. Because I mean, they can say it was rough, but then adding the whole condition of her overall, that wasn't just a rough, let's get all crazy. That was an attack. So I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna like piece all of this together. But all the evidence is there that he attacked her clearly. Why would she call for help? Why would he get her drunk? Why would he drink with her? Like, who does any of this? And he knew what he was doing. Period. Hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, he was drunk himself, right? That he blacked out. But obviously, you can't use that and say like, "Hey, you gotta find me innocent because I was drunk." But like I was asking, outside of this case, just in general, like when you're talking about a rape kit, that's why I'm trying to understand how the rape kits work. So if one is saying like, okay, look, there was bruising, it shows force, it had to be, would that stand up in court as rape? Or can someone just say like, no, 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 it was consensual, but it was just rough. We were just into it rough. Or does the rape kit pretty much point you out that it was rape?
Well, see, because she's not here, she
I,
can't say nothing.
I know,
No,
I'm
because
not,
no,
but I'm
because no,
not
I know
talking
what you're
about
saying.
me.
I know what
Yeah.
you're saying because the evidence is there. No matter what way you see it, it's there. It's tore. It's bruised. It shows how it is. I know what you're saying, but what I'm telling you, because yeah, it will show rape because it's force. It's by force. Again, like I was telling you, when everybody's consensual and it's okay, we will adjust to whoever we're intercoursing with. When it's rough and this and that, the same thing, it would show bruising and tears or whatever as well. So I'm telling you, I don't know, it could go either way. Like, he can get away with defending himself saying we just did it rough, because it's there, the signs are there, regardless of if it was rape or it was hard. It's the same impact that we would have you know
Okay. Okay. Kind of got to what I was asking. We get close enough. Close enough. Close enough.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I want to keep up with this story, man. Hopefully, this guy. Look, whatever happens, even if he gets away with it, well, gets away with it. I think I'm with you, B. I think at the very end, he does it 3 years. But like they were saying, if he behaves himself while he's in there, he could get out. He could get early time and get
Yeah.
out. We'll have to register as a sex offender. But in my opinion, I think he's gonna move.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, you
don't
know
know.
what? There's a business that sounds exactly like his. It's called Legendary Electric, and they're out of Lake Elsinore. This owner of this other company, he's on there, like he did a post as well, clarifying that Legendary Electrical is this guy, the dad, and that he's Legendary Electric because he's been getting a bunch of phone calls with death threats and that they're gonna get him. And this guy's like, I have nothing to do with him. He's in Moore Park. I'm in Lake Elsinore. He's electrical. I'm electric. They have all his information exposed already online everywhere. They know his address. They know he's been living in that place since 2021. They know what unit number he's in. That's letter D. They have his phone number. Everything about this man is out in open, like an open record right now. So honestly, I feel like the community is beyond disgusted with him and the fact that the little girl suicide because of this. I honestly think he's gonna get some kind of street justice on this one. Honestly, I think so.
If you were the guy in Lake Elsinore, what do? Do you change the company's name, or do you just continue to keep on trying to put it out there like, hey, it's not me?
Well, that post came from him, and he's like, no, you're looking for this guy. He straight put him on blast. So I don't know. Maybe he's going to change his name. Or no, keep his name. I mean, if he's been in business so long, like he says he has, keep his name and keep telling them that he's in Moore Park, not in Lake Elsinore. I don't know.
Okay. I'm just not sure if the message really gets across to everybody. He could be putting it out there like, hey, it wasn't me. You know, it's I get it. It's pretty much the kind of the same name. It's electric and electrical,
Yeah.
but it sucks for him. I kind of feel bad for the guy. I don't know if he should change the name of the company. If he wants to avoid headaches, maybe he can
He
do that.
should, yeah.
Yeah, man. Even though it's gonna be a little bit of a headache, but hopefully it all works out, man. Now I feel bad for that dude. So
Yeah.
all right, B, we got a little bit more time, B. Let's go ahead and let's mess around with something here. It's something that can. Oh, my mic here. Okay, something that I want to toss around a little bit, B, and it's this. Can you? I mean, what we were talking about earlier was serious, so let's lighten it up a little bit. B. Not just you, but just in general, B. Just in general. Can you be friends with the opposite sex?
I could. That's all I've ever been friends with, guys. Girls are mean to me. I've never gotten along with women, ever. Since I was a kid, the girls never liked me. Nothing. When I was little, I was actually a tomboy, believe it or not.
Man, you got a couple of girlfriends, I think, B, that right?
Now,
Yeah.
because we're like grown and we're like viejitas, but like growing up, nah. I had like one good friend, and she's still my very good friend. I had another one that I still talk to very closely, but we were like tomboys together, and like, yeah, it's crazy. The guys, on the other hand, they have always received me with arms open. I was one of the fellas forever. Even now, I still say I'm one of the guys. I'm just cuter.
Drunken Chef is saying he might have to get media involved to help spread the word. Yeah, the guy from Lake Elsinore, he should. Some television station should go down there and cover it, and so
Yeah.
he can let it be known, hey, it's not me. All right, this is the guy that you're looking for. I kind of feel bad for the dude. Okay, B. Okay, all right. So you're saying you can, but just in general, B. Just in general, can the opposite sex be friends?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, because
Okay.
there's always gonna be like curiosity or
Hmm.
that attraction,
Okay.
I
Wow,
think so.
B. Okay, B. I honestly, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with this.
Where was I gonna go?
I really did. Gosh. Okay. Here's where I stand on this, right? First, we have to define what is friends.
Mhm.
Okay. I think that's number one, because in all reality, many girls say they have male friends, and in reality, are they really actually your friends? People are just so quick to say like, oh yeah, that's my friend.
Mm.
And it's like, oh, like, are you guys really friends, or are you guys just acquaintances?
Mhm.
Is it really your friend, or is it just a coworker? Like if somebody got fired or whatever, are you still keeping in contact with them? I think we need to identify what somebody means as a friend, right? Like,
Yeah.
do you guys talk do you guys talk often? Do you guys, go out together? Do you guys hang out together? Do you guys do that stuff together? Because if it's not that, then I mean, how much really of a friendship is it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
to me, I think once we actually defined what friend really is, because I hear so many women say this, right? There's a couple of dudes as well, but I think it's a little bit more of a badge of honor for women to say they have male friends as opposed to the other way around. And I've seen it time and time again where, the girls all like, oh yeah, he's my friend. Yeah, he's my friend. Oh yeah, he's my friend. And then I talk to the dudes, right? Then I'm like, oh yeah, so and so, who she's at? Oh, some chick I know.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Not a
okay.
friend.
So,
Just whatever.
right. So when I was talking to her, that's her friend. When
Yeah.
I'm talking to him, that's just some chick he knows, So for me, I would say this, especially if you're in a relationship, it will just bring problems. I think it will just bring problems being friends with the opposite sex. If you cannot get everything from your partner, again, defining what friend is. If you're in a relationship, in my opinion, I don't think you should be hanging out with someone of the opposite sex, male or female.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay.
Yes. Go for
Because I've been with Cupcake since we were like 16 years old.
it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like I told you, I've always had more male friends, always. And I'm a people person. So everywhere I go, I make a friendship, whether it's a close friend or just an acquaintance. We end up swapping, like, Instagram, social medias, whatever. And we do keep in touch here and there. Like I just always do that. Like I like people. I think like with him at first he would get kind of weird because I would always talk to the guys, the men. But it's like I'm dispatch. Every driver I have is a man. I've never had a woman truck driver ever. Everywhere we go, like when I would go out with my girlfriends, it was always like the guys trying to send us a drink, and then I'll just befriend and we'll start talking. Um, Me and Cupcake have been friends with the opposite sex, and it has never really brought problems to us. I feel personally, I'm very transparent with everything I do all the way around. And I think he knows that about me. He knows I'm not going to sit here and be bringing a guy if I think he's good looking to hang around with us. And I hope vice versa. And for a long time, his childhood friend, which was a female, used to be very good friends with us for many years. She was gonna baptize my youngest kid, and there was no issues. She would bring her husband. We'd sit down and talk. My guy friends, like I have really good friends. Like you were saying, there's the difference between an acquaintance and a friend, you know, and I've actually been out with them to go eat lunch, have a beer, and I'll tell them I'm gonna go out with I call mainly all the guys primos because it's like they're just cool like we're just tight like that. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go have a beer with primo. And he's like, okay. So I don't know. I just think it has to do a lot with the respect the person gives himself. Period. The respect that person gives their spouse, their partner. Period. And the whole trust bond that you guys have. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's just me. And like I always tell them, if I was trying to mess around, I would not be bringing these people here. I would not even be inviting you to come out with us too. You know what I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm one of the twisted ones, but I'm not jealous either. So I think that has everything to do with that because I don't feel that whole like, how there's a lot of women that get all crazy. If I point fingers now, I have a very good reason. He's a serial cheater. So, of course, I'm always in the back of my head. My whole deal, though, is I'm embarrassed because everybody knows what he's done. And I'm sitting here like a dumbass, walking around like I'm so cool. And everybody's looking at me like I'm so stupid. That's my deal. But other than that, I don't know. I just feel like if you guys have a very respectful and a trustworthy bond, it shouldn't really be an issue.
Okay. So I cannot speak personally on your relationship because your relationship's your relationship. I can only speak in generality, right? So what I was going to say is in generality, again, I can't speak in your specific situation, but I will say this. For a couple, if they have such a special bond and close and everything, why do you need the opposite sex around? Now that's not to say, again, like you said, you were a dispatcher and you work with pretty much just men. Yeah, I mean that's different. That's like I was saying, acquaintances and everything, and you're working with people. It's not to say that, hey, whoa, don't talk to me, stay over there. You can't. No, that's not what I'm talking about. Of course, be cordial, talk and everything. Yeah, okay, cool, and everything of that sort. But what I am saying is, well, you know what? Here, let me go ahead and bring this example up. I remember back in high school, I went to 8 different high schools. Good gosh, man, when I look at it now, right? Okay. It's not a coincidence that in every high school that I went to, all the good-looking girls had a bunch of guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
And all the girls that weren't attractive, they didn't have any guy friends.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you know what? And vice versa as well. The dudes that were the attractive dudes that a lot of girls wanted. Oh, you know what? Oh, you know what? You talk to certain girls. Oh, yeah, he's my friend. Oh, yeah, he's my friend. Well, wait a second. Why is the attractive dude your friend and that ugly mofo over there has no female friends?
Yeah.
There's something there. There's something to that. I'm not so much saying that the intention is there, but there is something there. Even if it's subconsciously, there is something there. Now, me personally, if I were in a relationship, would I go out and have lunch or dinner that was outside of business? Now, my business, I'm a trucker, so really I have no business. But let's say if I were in some sort of other field, right, where I need to have businesses, a business lunch and everything, and it was a female, then I got to do that. But just under my own volition, just to, hey, I'm in a serious relationship, whether I'm married or a serious girlfriend or whatever it may be. You know what? I'll be real. I'm not going to go out with another female. I'm not going to go have lunch. I'm not going to go have breakfast. I'm not going to go have. I'm not going to go do all that. I'm going to find that with the person I am with. And if I do not find it with the person that I am with, then that's probably the wrong person for me to be with. That's where I stand. Friends, like I said, everybody likes to call somebody, oh yeah, that's my friend. That's my friend. Just they don't want to say the word acquaintance or just somebody I know, just because it sounds pretty cold. You know what I mean?
It does.
It's somebody I know, but I don't think it's a good idea. I just think, honestly, I think it just brings problems.
For trouble, huh?
Well, I think it just brings problems. It doesn't necessarily mean that something's going to happen, but I think more bad can come out of it than good.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
You're right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And see, like I tell you, it all goes back to the person, though. See, look, I don't want to throw dirt on anybody, but this specific guy was being friends with the girl. They ended up sleeping together, running an affair for a year and a half. Why? Because they would text all the time. You could be a friend. Doesn't mean you need to go sleep with them. You know what I mean? Me, on the other hand, I can talk to a lot of people. I'll even look at what he's saying and show the phone and laugh about it. It's all the malicious behind it and your actual intent, I think. I don't know.
Right. And see, here's the other thing. You don't know the other person's intent, right? You yourself can be like, I will never, and I don't have any interest whatsoever. Now, the other person can come off that way, but you really actually don't know. And it's a question that I'd like to throw out there, especially to females, right? If you, and I, again, B, I'm not singling you out. Like I said,
Yeah.
I'm just thinking in generality, right? If I ask, okay, females that say they have male friends, if you gave them the time of day, is it platonic? Would they say no? Like, hey, whoa. No. I don't see you like that. You're a friend of mine. Or do you think they would go with it, right? If you gave them that time. I'm not talking about you got drunk one day or something like that.
No,
No.
yeah.
If you actually started making the moves on, as so many girls like to say, they're male friends. Do you really believe that they would say, hey, whoa, hold on. No. We're friends, girl. I don't see you like that. Or do you think they would go for it? And when girls think about it that way, at least the conversations that I've had with females, a lot of them say like, no, they probably will go for it. And that's when I say, then it's not platonic. Then if they're willing to do it, then there's something else there underneath. So, and it goes back to what I said, the more attractive a girl is, the more male friends she has. And it's the other way around as well. I think the more
Yeah.
attractive dudes are, the more
Girls they got. Yes,
But I
for me. Yeah.
yeah, but I think there's two different ones, because I think the guys, for the most part, not all the time, but for the most part, don't call all these females friends. Just like, oh yeah, it's just some girl I know.
That
But
one broad.
yeah, but I do find that the females they label all these dudes friends.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I think it just brings problems. Well, and I think about, let's think about kids, B. Let's think about kids, right? You have daughters, I have sons, right? My son, my oldest one, he's in a relationship, and it's starting to get kind of pretty serious, right? I wouldn't want him hanging out with other girls. And if one day he were to marry and everything like that, and I saw him still hanging out with other girls, and he's just saying like, hey, it's just my friend.
No.
I think, no, I'd have a problem with that. B, you're on the other side. You have daughters. If your daughter was married and had a good husband and everything, and you saw her hanging out with other guys, and it says, hey, they're just friends. We're just friends. Would you be okay? Or would you be like, hey, girl, like, take it easy?
You're putting the malintent in my head. It's because I see my friends just as friends. I can't, I know what you're saying. I know where you're coming from, but me personally, like, no. See that I see another man because there has been somebody else. That was all full intent. Like I knew where we were going with that one, and it started off as my friend, but it's like, I don't know. My advice to my kids would be like, stay in your lane and be respectful. If your husband doesn't like it, then cut that friendship or minimize it, limit it, whatever. To me, it's always full respect to your spouse. If they find it offensive, if they're not okay with it, if they feel a threat or a certain way, that's who your respect needs to go to, and you need to make sure he's okay with it. Because I've run things through Cupcake before. Like, look at this and that. Is that cool or not? And at a certain point, you already know your person. Whether they say yeah and they're not cool with it, you will automatically know that they're not cool with it. So I won't push it. Like, okay, whatever. I won't then. But if I run it through him and he's like, whatever, I don't care, then okay, cool. But if he says, I don't care, but he's looking at me like he wants to murder me, then I know he does care, and I will take that respect towards him and not do it, So I don't know. I just feel like I would tell my kids that, look if he's okay with it, okay. And don't ever do good things that look bad. That whole little secrets and meeting on nobody knows. Like, see, it's things like that right away look like, perverted in a way. Like, why are you guys hiding to hang out? That doesn't look right. You know, that's just me. I don't know. But I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Cause see, how can I say? Not to be sexist or not to put like the bomb on you guys. I honestly think a man cannot see a woman as a friend. He can't keep it in his pants. He can't. That's just me.
Okay. Okay. Well, you guys heard it here. B thinks all men are, sexual pigs. I got you, B. Okay. No, look, B,
All of them.
look, B, in all reality, for the most part, that statement that you said right there, I actually agree. For the most part, like I said, are there certain? See, here's the thing: it's dangerous by saying like, are there certain exceptions? Yes, there are. The danger with saying that is that everybody believes they're that exception. So if everybody believes that they're that exception, then there is no exception. But
Yeah.
for the most part, B, no, I agree with you. Dudes, man. All right, let me pull the covers off men here, man. Okay. I find it odd that dudes would want to hang out with girls that they have no interest with it like that. Like, what? I don't understand. What are you getting out of it? That you maybe you don't have real male friends. And you know what? Now I'm kind of turning the corner here because now I'm starting to think of something else. I have ran into dudes, B. I have ran into dudes that really, truly, they may know a lot of dudes, but they don't actually have friends. They don't actually have friends that they can talk about
Yeah.
their relationship or anything of that sort, right? It's just kind of like they got a bunch of jackasses around them where it's like, man, you know what? Like, damn, I'm kind of going through this, man. And they just have the guys that they hang around with, like, right, come on, dog, drink a beer. You're acting like a, sissy or whatever. They don't really actually have male friends. They just
Yeah.
have a bunch of dudes that they call friends or homies or homeboys or whatever, but they actually don't really have that male friend, that brotherhood where it's like, damn, dog, you know what? Man, like, man, the women are going through it right now, man. It's like, damn, brother, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
What's up, man? Some guys really don't have that. They just got, the jackass guy dude bros. Let's just drink beer and talk smack to each other. And maybe they find that in a woman.
Yeah.
Maybe they find that in a woman. But see, that's something different now. That's a flaw because you don't actually have male friends, homie. And there's good brothers out there. One thing I will say when it comes to this, B, one thing that I will say when it comes to this, would you be okay? Just in general, I'm not really talking about you and Cupcake specifically, but do you think it's okay being in a relationship and your significant other opening up about your guys' relationship to somebody of the opposite sex?
No, because he has, and that's why he ended up in bed with her. Mm-hmm.
I just said it's not about you and Cupcake. Good God, no.
But
See,
no, because look it.
but that's what happens, though. That's what. Okay, that's what I'm saying, B. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why dudes. And I know there's going to be about those men that are going to be trashing me on this. Oh, you sound super insecure. You sound very insecure. No, homie, what is it that you're looking for in a female if you're not interested in her? Again, it doesn't mean, look, B and I, we talk, right? But we talk on here.
Mhm.
B, I don't call you.
No.
I don't hit you up at night. I don't text you, hey, what's up, girl? What are you up to? How you been? I don't do it. If I were to do that, that would kind of come off a little bit like, what's up?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, if I hit you up, it pretty much has to do with this,
Yeah.
for the most part. But that's what I'm saying. What is it that dudes are looking for? That's why I do agree with what you said earlier, that most dudes, even if it's subconsciously, they're kind of looking for that, or they don't have any real male friends where they can open up to a female. And that's a sad thing for a dude, man, because that's a really big sign of weakness with inside a man. That doesn't, I'm not saying he's a punk. I'm just saying there's some weakness in him. But go ahead, B. Go ahead and say what you're just saying.
That you're what you're saying is true. A lot of these guys, like I talk to a good amount of friends that I consider friends, and the majority of them are relationship issues. And I don't know if they want to get woman validation, or if they really do care that much that they want to get my point of view, because they tell me that. You're a woman. What do you think? Like one of my friends, that's always his whole deal. Like, okay, you're a woman. Tell me the truth. You know, what do you think about this and this? And then this happened. And then we got into it like this. And then she told me this, but I feel like this, you know? And that's my, like I said, that's one of my good friends. And we go back and forth with, you know, certain scenarios and, you know, his marriage and, you know, well, not marriage no more, but things like that. But I do feel that you're right on it with the money about like female validation, because a lot of my guy friends come to me to ask me my point of view, to tell them what I honestly think, stuff like that. So I don't know. I would like to think that the guys I talk to don't see me like that, because I'm not interested at all. So, you know, it's, I don't know. I just feel like we counsel each other back and forth, you know. And
Okay. I'm not laughing at that. Fred is calling himself James Bond. That he was such an attractive man in high school. Okay. Look, and there's a sad thing, right? There's a sad thing because, well, actually, let me go off, because I was about to like go off on a long one here, but let me go ahead and dissect a little bit more what you were saying there, B, before I do. What do you think of them coming to you and talking to you about their personal relationship? Do you put yourself in her shoes? It's like, I don't know if I should have this conversation with you, because if I were her, I wouldn't want you to be doing this.
I give them an overall period. And like, again, we go back down to the whole thing. I'm not like a regular woman. A lot of the things that will bug a regular woman don't bug me.
Okay.
So, you know, they come to me like, what's up, homie? Like a lot of the dudes call me that. And it's like hilarious. That's why I always say, I consider myself one of the boys, only I'm better looking. Because they tell me, okay, but for reals, like if this was you, what would you do? And then they get mad because I still see the situation like they do. Like, nah, she was wrong. You know, like I agree with you. I know, right? But she's saying this and this. And then I try to look at the valid point from the woman's side. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like I said, I can't relate with the women of today, you know? And I mean that, like, women don't like to cook anymore. They don't like to cater to their man anymore. They don't like none of that. I enjoy that. If my love was, you know, met in the same way, I would love to stay home. I would love to have meals cooked for you. I would love to do your laundry and raise my kids. You know, and these guys that I talk to are all the opposite. La vieja Navarra every weekend. She will not wash a dish in the house. She buys all disposable stuff, because how is she gonna do dishes? You got home, you cook. That's not my deal. You know, so it's like a lot of these are the scenarios that my friends throw at me, like, what would you do? So I tell them, look, I come from old school. I come from a very Mexican background where we cater to our men. You can't compare me, you know. And then like another one of my friends, oh well, you know, because my old lady, all she's there for is, you know, like she tells me she's built to make money. She's built to work, therefore she will not even vacuum the living room. Well, what do you think about that? And I say, you know what? I think it's wrong, because I myself have been generating money. But if your man is still doing the man stuff and you're still working as well, meet each other halfway. And if you're doing, say, the laundry, why can't she make a meal for you guys? You know what I mean? So like I said, I don't see myself eye to eye with a lot of today's women. And that's where they come at me, like, trying to get that validation, that point of view. And I do give them my point of view, but a lot of the times it's kind of like theirs, so that, like, we get nowhere besides good cheese man.
Yeah, well, I mean, and just to be fair, you're not getting her side of the story. You're just getting what they are telling you about her. You're not getting her side of the story, right? It could be, there should be some embellishment. It could be a complete lie, or it could be all true, right? But on top of that, though, because usually, I don't want to say all the time, but usually it does turn into relationship talk. You do talk about your relationship and everything. I don't think most people are down with that. I would completely be against myself speaking to another woman. If I were in a serious relationship, I would never talk about any relationship problems or anything of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be problems, but just anything like that. That is something that her and I, share. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what you're telling me about some of your guy friends, and I don't want to get into your guy friends and paint them in a bad picture, B, but it just kind of sounds like their ladies don't love them. And whatever they're not getting from their ladies, they're getting from you, right? I'm not talking about the physical love. I'm just talking about
the understanding and conversation.
Understanding the conversation. Hey, you know what? She doesn't cook. She doesn't clean. She's a little bit of a drag, but I can come over here, hang out with B, and she could fill that void, right? Maybe it's not the physical loving void, but nonetheless, it's a void. Because had they really been happy and she would give them all that, who knows? Maybe they would just be like, hey, what's up, B? I don't know. But like I said, I don't know those dudes. But I will say most dudes by far, most vatos by far, even if it's subconsciously, they got that in them where it's like, oh yeah, if she's a friend, it's like, is she, dog? Is she? I don't know what a man will find hanging out with a girl or girls if there's no intent there. And I've said it before, and I said it again. If you do not get it from the person that you're with, it's probably not the person for you. I think that person should be able to fill the void. Now, I want to make it clear. I was saying earlier, I want to make it clear. That does not mean that you hold a cross to the opposite sex and get away from me. That's not what I'm saying. Acquaintances, like, if you do a show together like we do here, or work or anything of that sort, it doesn't mean you can't have a conversation with the opposite sex. It doesn't mean like, hey, get away from me. Hey, don't talk to me. It doesn't mean anything like that. But hanging out together alone, going out to dinner alone, or lunch alone, or going out to some venue together alone, those things, to me, it can only bring problems. It can only bring problems to your relationship. And if I saw my son doing that, I would tell my son, boy, let your girl go.
Yeah.
Let her go. Okay. Yeah. Let her go. And if he's telling me like, but this chick is just a friend, just like that girl is just a friend, let your girl go.
Yeah.
She's not the one for you, because if she were, you wouldn't be hanging around with these other chicks. Yeah. And not only that, I'll actually go there on this side as well. Me, myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable being friends with a girl that had a man. I would not. That's another thing. If homegirl had a boyfriend or a serious relationship, or she was married or something, and she's all like, hey, you know what? Let's meet up for drinks, or let's go have lunch, or let's go have. Cool. Is your man coming?
Mhm.
No, he's not. But it's cool. It's just you and I. No, it isn't, because I'm not going to be there.
Yeah.
Me, myself, personally, as a man, I would not feel, even if I have no intentions, even if I don't have any intentions, it's like, no, I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm not cool with that. I'm not cool with that. So there are people, there are some females where I say like, oh yeah, you know what? Hey, what's up, sister? Hey, what's going on, girlfriend? Hey, you know what? That's the way I refer to,
Yeah.
a lot of girls. Like, hey, what's up, girlfriend? Hey, what's up, sister? And everything like that. But are we talking on the phone?
Yeah.
Are we texting back and forth? Are we hanging out together? No, we're not. So that's, I just think it brings problems, B. So that's where I stand on.
Yeah, and it sucks because you know what? Going back to the validation point of it, right?
Mhm.
I have noticed that every single guy that will tell me their issues will talk to me about it, but they will turn around and argue with their partner about it. And that's what I always see that, like, why is it so hard for couples to talk their differences out? And like a handful of these guys, it's always the same thing. I don't like being told what to do. Okay, if there's an issue and your wife, your girlfriend is specifically telling you what the issue is to fix it and work on it, and then you're over here being stubborn, which I always tell them, you just have your head way up your, you know what, because she's telling you what the issue is. Correct it, and there will be no issue. And it's the whole, I don't like being told what to do. They're trying to communicate to you what it is that is bothering them. Why don't you, instead of looking the other way for somebody to talk to, turn around and talk to your person that lives with you in the same freaking house, that is going through the same exact situation, instead of, I just don't like being told what to do. I'm not going to do it because she told me. It is so stupid. It is so stupid. So communication is key. They're telling you what the issue is. Take more than a hint. Like, she's telling you. So work off of that. Don't be, oh, I don't know what to do. She's telling you what to do. What is the issue? Work with that. It's crazy. It is so crazy. Because yeah, all the guys that have issues are the same thing. Oh, I can't talk to my wife, but what do you think? It ain't what I think. Your wife just told you what the problem is. So
Okay, I don't want to. Like I said, I don't know who these dudes is, but I mean, her problem is her problem, and she's telling him what the problem is, and his problem is he doesn't want her telling him what to do. So it just ends up being a circle. Fred said right here, oftentimes a female's best friend is waiting in the wind, especially if she gives him the authority to approve of the men she is seeing. That friend of hers is never going to approve of any man. Look,
Fred is so poetic.
I tell you, he's 50 Shades of Fred.
Mhm.
Again, I could look. I would say this. Do I have a homegirl? Yeah, I have a homegirl. I do. I rarely ever see her. I rarely ever kick it with her or anything of that sort. I've known her for many years. I think it's also important when the friendship is built as well. So, in other words, if you got into a relationship with the person and they already had that person as their friend, that's one thing.
Mhm.
But if you got into the relationship and then they get a friend of the opposite sex after you guys got together, man, I think that's a pretty dangerous sign. Does that make a difference to you at all? Be like, hey, you got into a relationship with a dude, but he already had a friend or two female friends, right? That's one thing. But when you met him, he had no female friends. You got in a relationship with him, and next thing you know, a year later or whatever, now he has 2 female friends. Does that make a difference to you at all?
No, but keep it as a friend, and I would like to meet her. Because then when you meet the other person, then you really see what's the dynamic really. You know what I mean?
Mm.
See, like my friends, like I told you, my friends are like friends. Like we'll go out with them. Like last Easter, we were hanging around him and his family. And I mean like his mom, his brother, the nieces, the nephews. And that was my friend, you know? So I just feel like, again, it goes to the whole knowing who you're with, knowing what they're fully all about, know what their limits are, you know, and the respect and trust that you guys have as a bond. Yeah. Because like I call him Primo. Any given time, like he'll text, oh, you know, Primo says he's gonna come over, and he'll come. He's our friend. So that's what I would kind of expect if this guy starts getting all these female friends. Okay, well then, you know, bring them along. Don't just, oh, they're my friends, but we're over here. No, if you're friends, bring them. We're all friends, not just your friends, you know? That's just me. I want to see the whole dynamic, not just, oh, they're my friends only at work. That already don't work for us here in the house.
Share your friend.
Yeah, share your friend. Share your friend. Don't hold it to yourself. Share your friend.
Okay. All right. Well, look, as we bring it to a close here, B stands where she stands. I stand where I stand. And I know we live in this day and age where, you know, it should be all accepting and everything. But for me, I'm like, yeah, no, again, defining what a friend is. You calling somebody a friend is one thing, but hanging out with that person, talking to that person about your relationship and all that. I'll be real with everybody, man. I would not be if I had a lady, I would not be down with her. For one, I wouldn't be down with her hanging out with another dude. Okay, just like that, just them two. Oh, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go have lunch with. No, you're not. Oh, you know what? Oh, hey, girl, go ahead, but you don't
Take
come
all your
back.
stuff. Yeah.
You ain't coming back. You ain't coming back. Okay. But furthermore, I would not be down with her speaking to another man about our relationship. Just like I would never talk to another woman about our relationship, especially to that level, you know. So that's where I stand. I know a lot of people like to say, like, oh, that's insecurity. Call it what you want, but in reality, and most dudes know this, they just won't admit it. Most dudes that have female friends and everything, there's a little bit of intention there. There's a reason why unattractive women don't have many male friends, and that's sad to say. But it's a reality. There's a reason why a lot of unattractive girls don't have many male friends the way attractive women have male friends. That's just not a coincidence. That's there's something to that. So, all right, B. Anything else on this, girl?
Just for the record, in high school, I used to talk to all the ugly guys, the dorks, the nerds, the loners. I just went and made everybody's day.
You know, okay, all right. Before we close it out, okay, B, okay, all right. I want to go because I don't want to throw your male friends under the bus. Okay, I don't want to talk bad about them or throw them under the bus. But
Just do it. Who cares? They ain't watching.
okay. No, what I understand, like you said, they're your friends, so you see the best in them. All right, you see the best in them, but do you not see a little sign of weakness that they're going to you, not because it's you, but because they're going to a female to talk about the relationship like that? Like, do you not see, like, okay, what kind of man does it take to go and get validation from another female about his relationship? Like, you're a man. You are the leader of your home. That is your kingdom. That is your castle. I understand things always, I understand, that it can be a bumpy road. I get that. And speaking with one of your trusting brothers is one thing. Hey, brother,
Yeah.
gosh, man, you know what? Damn, man. I'm in this situation, and gosh, brother, I don't even really know what to do, carnal. It's like, hey, homie, you know what? Check this out, man. Boom, let's chop it up. And the way you bond with your male brothers, but going to another woman, I'm saying it as a man for myself. I can't speak for other dudes, but I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I sense like that sounds weak. That's it. That it sounds very, very weak. Like, can you respect a man like that? B, I understand they're your friend, but if you were with one of them, right? If you were in a relationship with one of them and you knew that he was doing that, would you be able to respect him as a man to lead your home, your kingdom, if he's going out and doing, having these conversations with another female?
I don't. Why you do this to me?
Because you know what? There's a sign of weakness. Okay, because we live in a society today where it's just kind of like, hey, feminized man, it's cool. You know what? It's cool to cry. It's cool. But one thing that never gets pointed out, and that girls just love to deny, at least publicly. Publicly, they deny it. Privately, they'll go ahead and admit it. Is when they lose respect for men. It's like, hey, you know what? It's okay for a man to cry. And I say, like, hey, listen, fellas, try not to cry in front of your lady, because a little bit of her, even subconsciously, she might lose a little respect for you. Okay, so I get it. We're depending on what we're talking about, right? If you're at a funeral and you lost, your brother or a family member or something, that's different. That's not what I'm talking about. But you know what? If you just feel the weight of the world on your shoulders or something, it's like, damn, man, and you just feel down and out. Hey, brother, go cry on your own. Go cry on your own, or go to one of your trusting homies and say, like, damn, dog, I just feel the pressure and cry. Because if you cry from your lady, even though she doesn't want to, maybe she does, I don't know, but even though she doesn't want to, internally, she will lose a little respect for you. So, but we never admit that. But anyway, going back to the original question, B, would you respect that in a man for you to be with him, knowing that he's over there trying to get validation from another woman on your guys' relationship? That sounds weak to me as a man.
My personal relationship, I would consider him a straight biatch. Like,
okay,
I'm so easy to talk to. Why do you have to go somewhere else? And I honestly think that's why everybody comes to me with their issues, because I'm so easy to talk to. But I don't know. I don't say I lose like respect for them, because at the end of the day, like you said, living in a male world, you have men that just egg you on to do bad. You could have 10 guy friends around you, speaking like to you. Out of those 10, one will actually be righteous and tell you good things to do. The rest will be like, F her, and look at, we got all these chicks right here, and don't even go home. They see the calling, don't even answer the phone, turn it off. And I know this as a fact. You cannot tell me this is not true, because like I said, I've always hung out with guys. I know how they work. It's that whole thing. Out of the 10 bunch, there'll be one righteous person you can actually talk to. What happens when that mature guy that already lived, that already failed, that already picked himself up, that's already doing better, is not around you? You have nobody to talk to that can give you a sane bit of advice. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like if you find that advise that person that you can open up to and it's a woman, then do it. But if you go around crying to every woman and trying to, like, that's already, like you said, you lose respect because you already see that he's a pick me and he's just trying to go around and see where he can get what. That's the way I would see
Okay, now we got just a little bit longer here. Okay, look. Okay,
it.
okay. It goes back to what I was saying earlier, B. And I'm not. You're not wrong. That's why I said what I said earlier, right? There's a lot of dudes. Look, I'll go ahead and tell you this, right? Living the gang life. There's dudes that I saw that were from barrios, big barrios, but they had no friends.
Mhm.
They had no friends whatsoever. They had all these homies, but they had no
No
friends
friends, yeah.
whatsoever, right? Okay. It all goes back, and this is, me now growing up and changing my life, right? Where I started surrounding myself with a lot of good, righteous people. Fred's not one of them. That's why he's not on here tonight. Shout out to my boy Fred. But no, look, B, you're right. A lot of dudes, okay, and now I can see it from me growing up, right? A lot of the dudes I grew up with, they're kind of doing their own thing. We're not like close like that anymore.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm not on that lane anymore. And
Yeah.
now I can see it for what it was, right? What was it really? It was, hey, let's hang out, let's get drunk, let's get some hainas, let's get
Fun
into
stuff.
some,
Yeah.
let's go do all that stupid stuff, right? But once I let a lot of that stuff go, once I let it all go, it's like, okay, what am I hanging out with you for? You know what I mean? Hey, homie, much love to you, but yeah, we're not really hanging out like that. Now, there's some dudes that, yeah, I still, talk to and everything, and I consider them friends, right? The ones that matured, the ones that grew up, the ones that, are betting their life of that sort. Absolutely. So that comes down on him. Again, responsibility on a man. And this is the thing that, man, I would love to preach more and more and more on, right? Because we society focuses a lot on the female, and I'm not saying that's a horrible thing, but the responsibility of a man. Hey, who's around you? Well, homie, that is your responsibility. Who do you surround yourself with, right? Who do you let go out of your life? And I keep on saying, as a man, you were born as the most powerful thing this planet has ever seen. Okay.
Yep.
Stop with the excuses, Holmes. Okay. Stop with the excuses. There's nothing more powerful than a man in this world. Okay.
Mhm.
So if you got a bunch of jackasses around you, big dog, that's on you. Then you need to go out and find other friends. And if the best you can do is find a female, that means there's probably not good men that really want to be around you.
Mhm.
And that says something about you. I'm just coming back and just saying, that sounds weak. Not on your part. Not on your part. I'm just saying from the dude,
Yeah.
sounds weak. If I knew somebody, if I knew another dude and he had this female friend, and I was just like, oh, okay, cool, And he's all like, yeah, I go talk to her, man, whenever I have problems, with my wife and everything. I would look at him different. Like, damn, dog, what the hell's the matter with you? I would kind of lose respect for him as well. Like, as a man, like, dog, you don't have any brotherhood? There's a certain bond between men. And I just want to, I don't want to be combative, B. I don't want to be combative here, girl. But what you said about guys, I see that with females too. I see females being bad influences when a girl goes through a heartbreak. There's some girls that are righteous, and then there's other girls where it's like, come on, let's go out, girl. Get about them.
Yeah.
Let's get drunk, dress all sexy. Let's go out, shake what your mom gave you. You know what I mean? F them. F all men. We don't need any men and everything. That's poisonous. That's really not a good thing to do. Instead of, the righteous friend of all, like, all right, girl, you know what? Be up early at 6 o'clock. We're gonna go out for a hike. We're gonna, march this thing out. We're gonna talk. I'm gonna be there for you. Things of that sort. Instead of let's get liquor involved. Let's go to the bars. Let's go to the clubs.
Yeah.
Stay out till 2 in the morning. Let's go. So I see it with both. I see it with both sides.
Yeah.
So, all right. I think we covered some ground here.
Yeah, we did. That was a good one. That was a good one. Mhm.
All right. Okay. So with that, if any females looking for a male friend, yeah, I'm not him. I'm not him. I will be your acquaintance, especially if you are in a relationship. Yeah, girl. No, I'm not doing any of that. I'm not doing that. Even if there's no intentions, no. So, all right. Just want to go ahead and put that out there because Instagram gets pretty crazy at times. And that, I'll tell you, man, for as much as people complain on how odd and crazy dudes are, man, there's some chicks out there that are
Locas too.
I'll
Like this.
Oh gosh, man, they're out there, man, and I'm not getting caught in that trap. So anyway, all right, B, what do you got coming up, girl? You speaking to us on the radio tomorrow?
I am. I will be on 101.5 FM, or you can stream me on kqbhla.com. So if you're not near me, you can still hear me. And yeah, this weekend I have a runway show in Redlands. It's open to anybody who wants to come over. It is at 3:00 at the Taco Shack, Redlands. It is a fundraiser for the community. So what the photographer that I know is doing, he's doing a meet where there's gonna be a car show, there's gonna be models. They're going to collide, do their thing, but you have to bring a donation. So it could be either canned foods or essentials that they're going to go back and give back to the community. I believe they're donating it to a pantry that provides for the local people there that are in need of essentials and food. So yeah, that is this Sunday, 3:00, Taco Shack in Redlands. Everybody's invited. Bring a donation.
Okay. And you guys want to request to your significant other or to your friend of the opposite sex? I'll go ahead and leave B's Instagram for KQBH LA, right?
.com, yes.
.com, so you guys can go on there and send your dedications, man, because a lot of you just don't know how to pull that trigger, so you just stay in the friend zone. I'm jibbing, man, but as far as for me, I will be at QC's in Montebello this Sunday. It is the National Boxing Hall of Fame, baby.
Wow.
Yes, we have so many names going in there, too many to name. I will be there. It's from 11:30 to 3 p.m. Usually Sundays is a Netflix day for me, but not this Sunday. And it's dressed to impress. You cannot come looking like a straight bum. Okay?
Are you gonna iron your pants? How long does it take you to iron your pants?
Okay, well, see, it's even more dressed to impress. B, you cannot go in there with just regular jeans or no.
Oh, okay.
It's like tuxedo wear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now I don't wear tuxedos, but I got a little something in the closet. I got a little
You need
something.
to post pictures, okay? Post a lot of pictures.
I will post pictures. I will post pictures for those that don't know how to tie a tie. Don't trip. Okay. I will make a video. Yes.
Tutorial.
That is what I'm gonna do, man. That is what I'm gonna do. Or you could go speak to a female friend and she can tell you how to tie a tie, man.
Just not me. I don't know how.
B, gracias so much. It was just the duo tonight, but I think we whooped some nalgas. And not only that, I know we kind of made it fun to everybody watching. Kind of made it fun towards the end, but we will stay on top of the Michaela story. That's a very serious topic. and we will stay on top of it. I know we kind of have fun at the end of all this, but we will stay on top of it. So with that, B, anything else, girlfriend?
That's it. Talk to your spouse. Talk to your partner. Don't look for a friend.
All right. That is one Miss Becky Lopez, the round table. I will say bye to my friend B, and we'll catch you guys in 2 weeks. Buenas noches.